Before we get started, I do want to take a moment of silence for Sonia Macy. I do not recommend anybody watch the video. I haven't been talking about it on the internet simply because I have been talking about it more publicly, like outside with friends, and just kind of figuring out different solutions for us to be able to get past this and for us to be safe within our community as a whole, as a Black community, as women in general. So if you guys would please take a moment of silence with me, with us. Thank you. Hey, and welcome to another episode of Essential Magazine. I'm your host, Key, and today my co-host for the day is Jonathan, also known as Johnny D. Smitty from Johnny D. Smitty Productions. How are you, Jonathan?
I am doing great. I am doing really, really good. It has been an amazing week so far, and I am feeling pretty terrific. How are you doing?
I'm actually also having a pretty darn good week to go off. It's only Tuesday, however. Monday has been pretty done. It was good. Tuesday's been good. It's been a good time.
Nice.
It's a good time. Can't complain. Had a good weekend.
Nice.
Been living real peaceful.
What did you do this weekend?
Oh boy, I went to. Oh. Okay, so it started on Thursday, right?
All right.
I went to an event and there was a talk about it was at Kinfolk, and it was a talk about kind of relationships and putting yourself first. And once you put yourself in the position of being really tapped in with yourself, and then looking into partnership, and then also using community as another way for people to go to, so that when you do have a partner and you're in a relationship, you're not relying everything on your partner, figuring out what things can you get from yourself, what things can you get from community, and then what things do you need from your partner, rather than completely overwhelming like yourself or your partner with whatever you're going through, making sure you have somebody to lean on.
Okay.
Type shit. So it was good. So Friday, my friend, who was the organizer for a lot of the events that happen at Kinfolk, she hit me up and was like, "Come play spades," because they had a spades and dominoes contest.
You want to play spades?
Hell yeah!
Oh, I saw you post that thing on your
Oh yeah, about
Instagram.
how I'm so good at dominoes.
On your story, dominoes. Yeah.
I'm really good at dominoes.
I don't really know how to play dominoes.
I'll teach you. I'll teach you. I want everybody to know how to play dominoes because
like
it's
you were
so
killing.
fun. I was.
Like I can't.
We
used to play dominoes growing up. Like we have these like special ones where it's like colors and stuff like that. We have these like really special, but I haven't played it since I was maybe like.
Well, dominoes have colors
13.
on them.
No, dominoes you can just have the black and the white ones, but the ones that we have are like white and the numbers are all colored in.
Yeah, my dominoes are like that.
Are your dominoes like that too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like the sixes are yellow, and then there's all different colors. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
we have the same kind.
Nice. Now, yeah, dominoes and spades. I need to play spades more with more people to see how good I am with spades. However, dominoes I've gotten pretty damn good at.
Okay.
Yeah.
You sweet with the dominoes.
I'm sweet with the dominoes. I can really play with the bones. Right. I love it.
Yeah.
And then Saturday I went to Hot Bay Walk, which I highly recommend.
Hot Bay Walk.
Yeah, it's for women, for Black women though.
Somebody was telling me about that.
It's nice.
Yeah.
So basically it was just a walk around the lake. We stopped at the farmer's market Saturday morning. It was like sprinkling a little bit. Big group of Black women.
Okay.
Conversation was really good. Really enjoyed that. So did that on Saturday. Felt really good about myself.
So your weekend was lit.
My weekend, that was my Saturday.
You had a really lit weekend.
I had a really good like self-healing weekend, I feel like. Because it was like, that was Thursday. My weekend was Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
And then Saturday, for the rest of the day, I watched a little bit of the Olympics because I wanted to watch that opening. I needed to see that meme of LeBron James holding the flag. I needed to see it in real time.
It actually happened.
Yeah, and so I watched that. That was cool.
Fly.
And then Saturday, for the rest of the day, I did literally nothing.
Nothing, no.
Sunday, I did nothing.
Okay.
It was really great.
Yeah.
Stayed inside, chilled.
Sweet.
Was happy with it.
That
What
sounds
about
really
you?
good.
How was your weekend?
My weekend was great. I was out of town this weekend.
Yeah.
So
How was that?
it was terrific. Family reunion activities. And
You didn't play any dominoes when you were out there with the family?
no, we didn't do any of that. None of that kind of stuff. We did actually, now think about it, we didn't have any like card games at all.
No, it was just conversation.
Yeah, conversation, catching up. Now we did play, they played a game called, they played this game called Gestures.
Gestures?
It looks a lot like charade. So you put the card in, you have a certain amount of time to guess the thing.
Oh,
Or
okay.
if you don't guess it, the card drops in and you get points. But they were playing that. And then I participated in Guess That Tune on
Ooh,
Saturday.
okay.
And of course, the team I was on, we had to win. Come on now.
Period.
Like, because a friendly competition is only friendly
If you win.
to the point where I'm ahead.
Exactly.
And before that, it's a competition. And I'm not playing around about it
I'm not.
because I'm about to win.
Exactly. I get that. I understand that. I'm a pretty
Yeah.
competitive person.
Friendly
so-
competition does have the word competition in it.
Right. So you still got to
And
be a little
so-
competitive. Just make sure you keep it
Yeah.
friendly.
So if you think I'm not about to win, you're wrong. But the family reunion was great. One, name that tune, my team and I. And the flight back, I don't remember most of it because I was asleep for most of it. So
I thought you were going to say you were drunk.
no.
Oh no, you're reframing from that.
Yeah, I haven't had any alcohol, and that's still going great.
Nice.
No alcohol, no weed, no porn, no masturbation. Shout out to wholeness.
Shout out to wholeness.
The wholeness.
Oh, wholeness, not wholeness. Wholeness.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, I thought you said wholeness. That's why I laughed. I was like, that's kind
Shout
of
out to wholeness. That's
unaligned a little bit.
Wow.
I'm saying.
shout out to wholeness. That's crazy.
My bad.
Shout out to wholeness. Yeah.
Well,
And so now I'm back here and yeah, rested up. So
living your life like it's golden.
living my life like it's golden. So now we're here.
Beautiful.
Now we're here.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
Well, today we're going to talk about accountability and conflict resolution. So I recently saw this video from this on the interwebs. Saw this video on the interwebs, on the web from Shaheem McLaurin about how community requires conflict resolution skills. And I found that really interesting for a couple of reasons. One, me, myself, I've struggled with conflict resolution in the past. And it's something that I'm going to constantly be building on just to make sure that I'm always doing it properly, as well as always making sure that the person that I'm communicating with is doing it properly. And then I also found that, in my opinion, conflict resolution and accountability go hand in hand with each other.
Okay.
I feel like you're holding somebody accountable and it could lead to a conflict, and you want to be able to resolve that conflict in a healthy manner.
Okay.
Or, you know, after a conflict resolution, you're talking about how in ways you can continue to hold yourself accountable and hold your friend group, your family, and community accountable in the same way, so that you don't have these issues in the future. So I figured that's a really good thing to talk about because
You might just a little bit like
that's fine.
that.
Cool. I think that's a really good thing to talk about because I feel as if in order to continue to grow and to thrive as a community, as a human in general,
Right.
you need to be really good at making sure that you're holding yourself accountable
Yeah.
first and foremost.
Yeah.
And then make sure that, you know, you're surrounded by people who are not afraid to hold you accountable, and also that they're doing it in a respectful, healthy manner so that it doesn't come into this whole big thing. And I think a lot of people have issues with conflict resolution in general. I think people get over emotional about things, or people don't want to talk about things, or they feel like it's not necessary. And so there's various things that you could do to kind of avoid having conflict resolution or resolving conflict, and just kind of being like, oh, this is an issue and I'm not comfortable talking about this issue. Therefore,
Right.
I'm just not going to do it. And then the issue gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And as
Right.
it steeps, you get resentful towards people.
Yeah.
And it becomes a whole problem rather than going and being like, let's have a conversation and let's like, really get to the bottom of this and make sure that you and I feel better about it. Yeah.
I think because like addressing conflict takes a lot of energy.
Yeah.
And if you are naturally a lower energy individual, to take the energy you do have and spend it on addressing this thing that, number one, is going to be hard
Right.
for somebody who even is great with dealing with conflict and has a bunch of energy naturally. It's about to take up my whole day.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is about to be my whole day.
Yeah.
And so I understand the avoidance.
Yeah. However, it's making sure that you get to the other side of that so that you don't have that same issues. If you can mitigate that problem and figure out how can we get to the other side of this without it feeling harmful to you and harmful to me so that we're no longer harming each other in this way, that could be a lot better. Because think about a low energy person is going to have even less energy because they're so fixated on something that's bothering them, yet they're uncomfortable to talk about it.
You think they would be fixated on the thing then?
I think if something is bothering somebody, they might fixate on it. You don't fixate on things that are bothering you?
But how do you know the avoidant person would be fixated on? They might be like, if this is their natural state of being, then
So you're just holding that in?
just pushing it to the back of the mind.
I mean,
Did you see
Inside Out 2?
Right, Inside Out 2? Exactly.
Thank you. That's exactly what I was about to say.
exactly where
I
I
was
was
like,
about to
and
go
now
with
we know from
Right.
watching Inside Out 2 that when
Right.
you throw stuff to the back of the mind, it really starts to mess up your front of the mind. So don't throw stuff to the back of the mind because your subconscious is going to keep bringing it up. So, and then you got to get rid of your joy. So that joy, sadness, and then you got anxiety running that, come on now.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on now. And then you're going to get to the, I'm not good enough. And it's like, huh. Sorry, I just gave away a lot of the movie. So if you haven't seen it,
Spoiler
spoiler alert. Sorry, spoiler alert.
for
Inside Out 2.
Because
Yeah, it was necessary. It was a good movie.
it's a great movie.
It was a really good movie. I cried.
Pixar movies, low key, are not made for they're made for children because of the animation.
It's made for your spirit. I feel
They're
like
low key made for adults
Yeah.
to get through what they were dealing with in childhood.
right.
Pixar movies are low key therapy.
They are because like, what's another Pixar movie that's very much therapeutic? Wait, is the Elemental movie? Is that no? That's Disney, or is that Pixar? Or wait, Disney bought Pixar because Pixar.
Yeah, it's Disney Pixar. Yeah.
It's Disney Pixar. Yeah, those ones are very like, even that one, just kind of how you're so different from somebody, and just because you guys are different and you're not supposed to be together, like fire and water would never work until fire and water do work, and they kind of work well with each other. And
I didn't see Elemental.
I thought that was a cute one too.
That was a good one.
It's on Disney Plus. You'll watch it.
Gotta check it out. I
Yeah.
don't have Disney Plus, but I'll find a way to get it.
It's okay. I have Disney Plus.
I'll find a way to watch it
We'll
regardless.
figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Irregardless.
Irregardless is not a word, because regardless and irregardless quite literally mean the same thing.
But it is.
And so
Look
they
up.
put it in the dictionary simply because everybody wouldn't stop saying irregardless.
Guess what irregardless means? And it is actually a word. Guess what irregardless means?
Regardless.
It means regardless. But it is actually a word.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a word. I choose not to use it because I could just use regardless. Instead of
Irregardless.
putting the ear in, because it doesn't even sound right to me, or irregardless. Whatever. How do you hold yourself accountable?
In which regard? Like that was. How do you hold yourself accountable?
Well, let me phrase it like this. One, do you hold yourself accountable for the things that you like have to get done? Just because with making sure that you're being accountable in general,
Yeah.
you want to hold yourself to a certain standards of accountability
Okay.
before you start going to everybody else like, you need to be accountable. You need to be accountable. Blah, 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 blah.
Okay. How do I hold myself accountable?
Or do you in general? Or do you just kind of let yourself skate through life like, we'll be fine?
I think it all has to do with situational.
Okay.
I think it's a situational thing.
Okay. Well, when it comes to, for example, you have a really good work ethic.
I do. It's true.
So with your work ethic, how do you hold yourself accountable with making sure that you're doing everything that you want to get done, the things you need to get done, and also still having time for yourself?
That sounds like accountability for self-care.
Well, yeah.
Irraccountable is what I am in that
Just
regard.
start throwing ear in front of everything. Irregardless. Irraccountable.
Yeah, I think for accountability, I think that it's like I don't know, it maybe I'm conflating the two, but it's like responsibility, dependability, accountability.
Well, let's go through. Okay, so the definition of accountability
Right.
is the fact or condition of being accountable, responsible. So like literally responsibility.
Right.
So like how are you being responsible for the things that you need to get done?
Right.
And so you said, that sounds like accountability for self-care. And I personally feel like if you're holding people accountable for certain things, are you holding yourself accountable for certain things
Right.
as well?
Okay. So holding myself to the standard that I expect others to be held to.
Do you hold yourself at the same expectation as you hold others?
I don't hold anybody to the same expectations as me because I'm the best.
See, because I understand that because I hold myself at a very high standard.
I'm the greatest human being there's ever been.
After me, of course. So,
She thought.
he thought.
Yeah. So accountability. Let's say it's accountability. When it comes to like fitness and care of self and self-care.
Okay.
I work out regularly.
Right.
I eat the right things.
Right.
I'm working on the sleep part. But so like when it comes to self-care and holding myself accountable for being my best and being able to show up as my best, I do what I need to do to show up as my best.
Yeah. Okay.
And I keep tying in accountability with responsibility because it's just, I think it's about being a responsible human being.
Yeah.
Like in dependability, if I say I'm going to do something, then I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
Like I think that's what accountability is, at least to me.
I know, I understand that. And then you touch on accountability and responsibility, and you have to remember that like quite literally the definition of accountability has responsibility in it. And so it's like very much responsibility, and then when you agree to something, it's your responsibility to be dependable. Because if you have decided that you're going to commit to something, make sure that you're actually committing. Don't half-ass it. Don't decide, okay, cool, I'm going to be committed 75% of the time.
Right.
Oh, and then that's going to lower to 60 and then 50. And then it's kind of like, oh, I don't want to do it anymore. And it's like, okay, well, you committed to this. So either figure out a different way to do it or have that conversation where you can kind of say that you're not able to be accountable for this any longer.
Right.
And I think that having those conversations and getting to those positions kind of goes hand in hand with the conflict resolution. Because if you are holding yourself to a certain standard to be able to do something with somebody else, for example, and then either you're not able to fulfill that or they're not able to fulfill that, that could cause conflict between you guys.
Absolutely.
And then you have to go there
and that's
now.
going to cause conflict.
And so with that, then you dive into how are you dealing with the conflict? Are you resolving that conflict? Are you avoiding it? Are you deciding that there's going to be some sort of compromise or what's that conflict resolution style that you're going to be using in order to mitigate these issues? Yeah.
So it's like we were talking about before we even got started. It's like I was raised with the strike while the iron's hot, and as soon as something pop off, get to it.
Yeah,
we ain't playing about it. We ain't gonna beat around the bush. My mom had the famous quote saying, "I don't sugarcoat shit," and she was right about that. She was just straight up and down. This is what happened. This is what happened. This is how it could have been improved. this is where you did great. This is where you didn't do great. And
Yeah. So there was steps within it. It wasn't
Steps
necessary.
within it.
Like, no, you just said. So she was like, this is what you did.
right,
This is what I didn't like. This is what you could have done better at.
right.
This is what you didn't do great at.
Yeah, I wish she would have broken it down kind of like that.
Oh.
We got that. We got those things eventually.
Oh, you pulled that. That was.
I pulled those. I pulled those out of the belt.
Okay.
Out of the cable cord is what I pulled out of that from her conflict resolution. She said it happened. We about to address it right now. Boom. But we ain't gonna go back into that. That was episode 1. Go back to episode 1. But or episode
No, it was episode
in
1.
the past. Episode 1, something like that. But yeah, it was more so just like when something happens, let's get to it now. That way it doesn't fester and build up and become worse than it has to be.
Right. Because that puts people in a resentment mood. And not saying that you resent your mom. I'm just saying that a lot of people may get into that position of pushing things back so often. He loves you, Mom. They gets into the position of people pushing that back so far and throwing that to the back of their mind. And then it keeps coming up and it keeps coming up and it keeps coming up. And then it's like, okay. Or it gets to a thing where, okay, cool. You don't want to handle it. That's fine.
Right.
It's going to get handled because what goes around comes around, and you're going to keep dealing with the same issues until you get to a point where you can actually resolve it.
Right.
Yeah. So, okay, cool.
But wait. So we agree to go on a trip. For example, it's just an example.
Okay.
We're gonna go on a trip, and on the way there, I'm gonna drive, and we're all going to contribute for the gas.
Okay.
Somebody doesn't contribute on the gas.
Yeah.
How are you addressing that in the moment? What does that look like? You popping off on dog? You telling them to get the fuck out the car, find a ride.
I'm not a pop off type of person. Like, I'm not about to be screaming and yelling at somebody because there's something that needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
I don't think that's mature. I don't think that's how you go about things. I think you have like an actual
So you're
conversation.
mature. You're mature.
I don't necessarily think I'm fully mature for me to.
You just above it all, huh?
He's funny.
What's up?
I'm not saying that I'm like this super mature person. I'm just saying I don't like being yelled at.
Okay.
And in general.
Yeah.
And so I know that since I don't like being yelled at, I'm not going to yell at somebody.
Right.
I don't think that that's effective. I don't think that yelling is a way for you to communicate in a proper way. And that's something that I feel like I've grown out of. My mom barely yells at me. So I'm like, my mom barely yells at me. I'm not yelling at people. What am I?
Soft parenting.
Well, no.
Oh.
I'm just I've been yelled at before, which is why I don't like being yelled at.
Got it. You know how I feel.
Exactly. And so I don't think that it feels like you're talking at me, not talking to me.
Right.
And when you're just yelling, I'm not hearing anything that you're saying.
Right.
I'm just over here at the part of, why are you yelling?
Right.
What
Who is you talking to?
Who is you talking to?
Right.
Lower your tone.
Right.
Calm down.
Right.
Do you need to take a breath?
Like, back up off me.
Cause like, yeah. And then it got to the thing is like, I also don't like to yell because my bark is loud. It's scary. And it's like, if you start yelling at me and I get to the point where I have to yell back, you're not going to be happy about it. And you're going to be like, you're yelling at me. You started it.
Right.
I'm not, and like, you know this, I'm a very soft-spoken person. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to finish it.
Yeah.
I'm going to finish it.
You can start it, but I'm gonna finish it.
But I'm going to finish it.
Watch this.
So, so I don't think that that's something that's effective. So I think it would be more of a conversation of, hey, remember we talked about everybody was going to put in on the gas as long as the so-and-so drove. So what's going on? Why aren't you putting it on the gas? Don't forget to do this. More of a reminder to start off because maybe they forgot. And then if it's an issue of, okay, why aren't you putting it on the gas?
I'm about to say, and here's the response. I get that, but I told you before we left that I was supposed to get paid and they ain't pay me. So like, how y'all just gonna expect me to contribute what y'all contributed and you know my situation? How you just gonna do that?
I feel like first was the yelling the part where they were supposed to be yelling? Are they yelling?
That was the response.
Oh, okay. So they're yelling.
No, you did your explaining,
right.
But then they just kicked back at you with that.
Okay. Well, they'll be like, well, I feel as if you didn't have the funds to come on the trip, you probably should not have come on the trip. Have we already left? Are we at our destination of the road trip
No,
in this
y'all,
hypothetical?
y'all at the gas
We at
pump,
the
and
gas pump.
y'all at the gas pump, and it's they turn to put in on the gas, and then they hit you with the. Y'all know I was gonna do it this time, but y'all remember I said they ain't pay me. They ain't pay me.
And I think that's a better conversation to be like, okay, not a problem. When you get paid, just send back to whoever can take your turn right now. And then we'll just go for that.
So y'all just gonna hold that over my head?
It's not even gonna be held over your head.
Y'all ain't just gonna let me have it this time?
I feel like you got to be, or are we not holding you accountable? So everybody else has to pick up just because you didn't prepare for. If you didn't get paid, is this the first time that your job hasn't paid you? Is it the first, or is this something that happens often?
Okay.
If this is something that's happened often, that's something you should have been aware of. That's something that you were already aware of and could have told us earlier in time that, hey, by the way, I've been having some issues with my job. They're not paying me on time. I don't know if I'm going to have the funds to go. I'd like to still go. Would somebody be able to potentially cover it until I get paid? X, Y, and Z, blase, blase. Not a problem. What we're not going to be doing is sitting in this car yelling at each other. That's what we're not going to be doing because I will drag you out this. Never mind.
Right. I feel like in this moment you're missing the part that I'm playing is the friend that doesn't hold themselves accountable.
Right.
And how that can be an issue, especially when it also sounds like they might also like to address things as they happen, but they might also just be a little immature. Do you think that accountability comes with maturity, or do you think it's like
I think accountability builds maturity.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it builds maturity because think about this. If all right, so we decided that we've now resolved the conflict and it works for everybody. You're going to pay us back when, when you get paid and somebody's going to take care of it.
Right.
And now you're sitting in the back, whatever, and you're thinking, you're going through that. You've put your headphones in because now you got a little bit of an attitude and you're working through your attitude. Yeah. And then as you're working through your attitude, you're having those moments in your head that say, I'm actually really thankful that my friends were able to do X, Y, and Z. Okay. I'm actually really thankful that they didn't say, okay, well, you know what? You need to figure out a way to get home because we're not paying for you. Right. I'm actually really thankful that X, Y, like that this is how the situation was resolved rather than it being a whole blow up. I'm really happy that this didn't cause much of a turmoil than it could have. Right. And so those are the things that could be going through your head where you'd be saying, you know what? Hey, guys, I really appreciate all of you understanding the situation that I'm in. Mm-hmm. I really appreciate you guys being here and deciding to support me and still allowing me to come in. I apologize because I could have let everybody know of my situation earlier so that you guys were aware of the fact that this is what I'm dealing with and that I've been having these issues with my job. And since I've been having these issues with my job, and since I've been having these issues with my job, I could run into these kind of problems. Mm-hmm. And so I think that having that conversation where you're having people hold you accountable for something, right, and then you sit with yourself and you go through that process again and you're like, you know what, let me hold myself accountable by apologizing and deciding how I can be better and having that conversation and then continuing to remember that and go through those so that when you have that again, you go on another trip, you could now we've gotten to the destination. Hey guys, I just got paid. Let me actually take you guys out to dinner. Let's drinks on me. First round on me. Let's do this. And then it's like what you were supposed to pay back is now taken care of. Yeah. And now everybody gets to continue on with a good time. Your attitude is gone. Yeah. You guys got drinks. You got some good food. And everybody's now happy. Because that's the whole point of conflict resolution is it's quite literally the process of ending a dispute and reaching an agreement that satisfies all parties involved. And I think that that's the part that people forget is it satisfies all parties involved. And so that was a situation where everybody ended up being happy. Mm-hmm. You got paid, whatever. You got paid like almost the next day. Yeah. And now it's good because we're here. We're getting ready to go out. You take that up with your job. We're not going to worry about that. We're still going to have fun. We're still going to take care of you. We're still going to, it's all love. It's all love.
Right.
And I think moving in that is definitely important, and moving in a loving way when you are resolving conflict and when you're talking about things and when you're holding somebody accountable. It doesn't need to be some, you know what, clap back type situation. Relax, people. Relax. I see that a lot. There was a guy the other day. I was like, the light turned green. 2 seconds later, he's honking at me. I'm literally taking my foot off the brake, putting it on the pedal, and he's honk.
California.
Sir, calm down.
That's California.
Calm down. No, I
Y'all
mean,
crazy on the horn.
I mean, yeah, I get that. However, I just think in general,
I was
people
down
who
there in
have,
Louisiana, I ain't hear a horn the whole time. It
I
was
bet
beautiful.
not. It's illegal to honk your horn that much in
Beautiful.
Arizona. It is illegal to honk your horn.
Just hold on the horn.
In
Y'all be
Arizona.
going crazy in this
I
world.
don't
I'll be
know.
like, yo.
I do like a quick beep beep. I'm not, if I'm sitting there, he could have gone around. There was a whole empty lane next to me. And it's like, sir, if you were in that much of a rush that the second that the light turned green,
They be trying to hold you accountable to be paying attention and hit that gas.
I was paying
as
attention.
soon as that light turned green. And why you ain't do it?
That's crazy. Right.
Hurry up.
Calm down.
Hurry up.
That's how people get into accidents.
Yeah.
Just out here being reckless on the road.
Yeah.
That's so immature to me to still be in that phase where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm having major road rage. Why are you so angry? Why are you driving like that?
They don't realize that I'm already 30 minutes late to work and I got 15 minutes left on this drive.
That is your problem. Hold yourself accountable to make sure you get to
Accountability.
where you need to be on a proper time.
Here we are once again.
Don't
but-
start blaming everybody else for your
but
mistakes.
guess the way I'm about to resolve this conflict. It's going to be honking this horn so I can get through this light. Get the fuck out the way. Pull your ass up.
See, I'm not doing because it's just gonna make it worse. It's just gonna make
I'm
it worse.
resolving my own personal conflict, and we about to have one between each other. Now look, it's conflicted. We
Now it's
conflicted now.
Now there's issues.
Now it's compound conflicts.
Compound conflicts. Wow.
Can we talk about compound conflicts? I don't know
Definitely.
if you got it in there, but
No. We got.
I mean, if we talking about community, right?
Yeah.
Because you did want to get into like how holding community members accountable can build a better community, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so
When I look up compound conflict, it literally pulls up war stuff.
wow,
That's terrifying.
causing a whole bunch of wars. I'm
Right.
trying to tell you,
Oh,
to
God.
compound these conflicts. So, for example, it's kind of like just one thing leading to another thing.
Yeah.
I am upset because, or the government decided they were going to roll back on how much food stamps we get each month.
Okay.
Now, my job didn't start paying me more money. And now I have a conflict with my wallet and my rent that needs to be paid. But dang, we had a girls trip planned and we all said that we was going to put in on gas.
Yeah.
Call back. Now, we about to have two conflicts because
Now you got a conflict with.
I'm about to have a conflict with my homegirls who all got jobs and they good, but then me, who just had a conflict with the government rolling back on food stamps, now I'm angry. Now it's hurting the community. Now these conflicts that I'm dealing with internally are being pushed out into conflicts that are being created in my social circle.
Right.
Now stresses, and I'm calling stresses, conflicts, these conflicts that are
Stressors, yeah.
stresses are building up issues and problems that now I'm taking energy to other people in the community
That's causing more conflict.
that's causing more conflict.
Right.
Now, they just told me that they rolling back on my food stamps and the office is 20 minutes away and I still have another 30 minutes to drive and they close in 20 minutes. So now I'm honking on the horn. Get the fuck go. It's green. It's green. So now she angry at me.
Right.
Conflict.
Now now the person that you were honking at
Is
is
pissed.
now irritated, but now they've gone about their way. So you've separated, now making somebody else upset.
So like how do you think community resolves, how do you think community heals to resolve compounding conflicts?
I think first starts with grace. That's one big thing. However, at the same time, it's to get to the root of stuff. And that is something that people have to work on within themselves.
Yeah.
Is to go through and be like, okay, the root of my issue is that the government just rolled back on food stamps. I've got this girls' trip coming up and we've agreed to these certain things. And I'm now feeling like because I have to spend more money on food for me to obviously be able to survive,
Right.
then it's going to mess with my
Because my stomach already touching my back.
so the conflict with, with having to spend more money on food, my job's not paying me enough. And I want to go have a conversation with these people so I can make my case. And have not given myself enough time. These are all issues that are kind of within, I mean, the not having enough time, that's an issue within yourself. However, okay, so look into the kind of food that you're eating at the current and see if there's certain ways or things that you can shorten so that you can make that better. Maybe don't go for this 20-minute, close in 20-minute drive because you are 30 minutes away.
Yeah.
And even if you get there,
But they finna cut my shit off.
even if you get there, you got, hello? I could be there tomorrow. Cool. I could be there tomorrow. Bet. I'll be there tomorrow. Because it's going to make you even, it's going to cause even more conflict when you show up there and you've hit 19 minutes. Cool. You've cut to 11 minutes off your trip, right? And they close in 1 minute and now they won't let you in because they close in 1 minute.
And I'm upset because why was she sitting at the light when it was green that whole time?
Right.
I lost like 3 minutes, but because of her.
So now you've decided to blame everybody else for your issues instead of just saying, okay, I'm not going to have time to do this today. Let me call my girls and tell them what's going on so they can be aware. Because just like the first example, they might be like, oh, you know what, girl, don't even worry about it. Do what you can. We'll take care of the gas. Or you know what? How about this? We'll use some of your food stamps for X, Y, and Z,
Right.
and then we'll get you, and then we'll pay you back in food stamps, some type of something
Right.
that will make it to where you can still go on the trip, enjoy it. And I think once you start being open and a little bit vulnerable with what's going on, especially with people that you feel comfortable doing that with, it makes it easier for you to not have those conflicts and not have to have those issues. So that vulnerability, that vulnerability that allows you to hold yourself accountable, because I think too, it's very interesting. Accountability has so many things under it. That's like huge umbrella.
Yeah.
Because then you can also talk about accountability. You have to be vulnerable for a bit. You got to be vulnerable in opening up your feelings on how you felt about something. You got to be vulnerable with yourself. You got to be vulnerable with community to be able to say, hey, I this hurt me.
Right.
It like really hurt me, and it hurt that we never have a conversation about it. And I'd like to have a conversation about it because it's just something that's just been sitting here, and now I'm resenting you more and more because it was never a conversation.
It almost seems like you're saying that you had the types of conflict resolutions. What was the one that was like address it? What was that one called? Where you would just address it outright. While you find it, it almost sounds like you're saying that having that capacity to resolve conflict or address conflict is a responsibility that a person has. So let's say, man, you had, for example, you had an issue with that. Well, why didn't you bring it to me? Like, yo, I hold you, like, when I have an issue with things, I come to you about it and we resolve it.
Right.
So would you say like you hold someone accountable for conflict resolution?
What do you mean? Like, expand on that. It's like hold somebody responsible for conflict resolution
Or accountable, like your accountability. Like
Like if their accountability is bad, is what you mean, or if they're like over accountability somebody, like hey, and then it comes to the point where they're just now complaining.
So let's talk about it.
I think that could be a fine line.
It is direct addressing of conflicts often. Can that be seen as complaining?
I think if it's like, I think it depends on how big it is. Like for example,
Okay.
let's say you left something in my car, like some trash. And I was like, and that was like the first time you did it. And I was like, hey, can we have a conversation? You know, you left something like some trash in my car, and I
Right.
just really didn't like that.
Right.
I feel like you think of me as a trashy person, like the car
Right.
is completely dirty all the time. And
Right.
so you're just like,
Yeah.
what do you mean? That's
Right.
not at all what I think.
Right.
And then you're like, okay, cool. So that's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then like another small thing happens, like, hey, I feel like you didn't respect my boundaries when you told me that you couldn't do something at this time and you moved it to a different time.
Okay.
And you're like, okay, all right, thank you. Like, I understand that. Right. And then there's another problem of, hey, I didn't like that you weren't able to come, and that really hurt my feelings. And I think that those are really good. And then it starts to be like, if those are always very tiny things that you're kind of like, hey, I didn't like that you didn't do this, and I didn't like that you didn't that. And there's always something, and it's like you're doing your absolute best to make sure you're showing up for them on a regular basis, and you're always doing these things. And it gets to a point where it's like, okay, your accountability-ness is actually crossing my boundaries on how I can like do my things.
My capacity.
And so then I get that you're saying, I'm telling you I might be able to make it to somewhere, and then you're coming to me and being like, hey, it hurt my feelings that you said you only might able to make it. I'd actually like you to really be there. You're like, well, I'm actually like, I've just got a lot of things going on this week and my capacity is this way. Yeah, no, I understand that. However, I think that you should be able to make it to my event, because if you were my friend, you would really be there.
If you really loved me.
Right. And then you start doing those and you're like, no, I kind of feel like you're weaponizing your accountability, and you're making it to where my capacity and what I can do for you is now, it is now not important. And you're making it seem like what I need to do on a daily basis for myself is not something that I care about, which is something I care about, because I need to be able to check in with myself just the same way that you need to be checking with you. I make sure that I show up to 5 out of 7 your events, and you're upset with me because I wasn't able to go to the last 2 after I told you that I might not be able to make it. And I think in those ways it can kind of be like, okay, you're trying to hold me accountable for not making 7 out of 7 of your events.
Right.
Well, I need to hold you accountable for the fact that I told you I have other things to do, and I cannot always be there. I cannot always sit there front row and just make sure I'm clapping you on.
Hey, big dog, and you lucky I made it. You lucky I made it to 5, because.
And so I think in that way you gotta like be cautious on how you're going about your accountability. And I think that's kind of how it is. And so let's go into actually the different types of accountability, since you brought it up.
Yeah.
So there's collaborating, competing, avoiding, accommodating, and compromising. And so then the collaborating style prioritizes relationship over the outcome.
Okay.
So the goal is to meet all of the needs of the parties, all of the needs of the parties involved in the conflict.
Okay.
And it's best used when you care about the relationship involved more than winning the argument.
Got it.
And so that's saying, you know what, let's agree to disagree because I care about you and I value you as a person.
Yeah, I don't even like that. Let's agree to disagree stuff.
You don't like that?
I feel you.
So you wouldn't be okay with the collaborating?
Because how are we making an agreement on a disagreement?
I mean, it depends on certain things. Like we could agree to disagree about like your favorite color is blue. And I'm like, well, my favorite color is yellow. And you're like, well, yellow is stupid. And I'm like, well, blue is stupid.
Okay, I see.
And then I think when it gets to...
We can agree to disagree.
Agree to disagree on those things.
Because yellow and blue is not stupid. And
yellow is not stupid.
Yellow isn't stupid.
It's just your favorite color is your favorite color, and that's great. And my favorite color is my favorite color, and that's wonderful. And we don't need to be having conflict about those kind of small things. Right. I think it depends on the magnitude of it. Now, when it comes to like real moral like things... that it cannot be an agree to disagree situation.
Well, let's just agree to disagree. Yeah, murder is okay sometimes. If you think about it.
No. And so kind of having that understanding of what you're comfortable agreeing to disagree on and what things are absolutely unacceptable for you to agree to disagree on. But the example
that I just gave, people do agree to disagree on, actually.
And I'm
murder, actually.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
And I really hope that people can be better, because That's wild. So yeah. Because I'm comfortable with the agree to disagree in small forms.
In some situations.
Yeah, in some minor situations.
What was the next one?
Competing. So the competing style prioritizes outcome over the relationship. And so basically you're kind of like, I want to win this argument.
I'm finna win.
So yeah, so it's best used when, and so the goal is to meet all the parties involved in the conflicts, all the parties' needs involved in the conflicts, and is used when you care more about the relationship involved. Oh, I just read the wrong one. My bad.
Okay,
I was like, wait, nah, that's not even right.
The goal, ain't no way.
The goal is to control the outcome of the disagreement over maintaining a positive relationship with the other party involved.
Okay.
Best used when you care more about winning the disagreement than maintaining the relationship with the other parties.
Got it. Yeah.
And so that's basically saying that would be the other one of sitting there saying, oh, murder is okay. And being like, oh, let me talk to you about why murder is not okay.
Right, all right.
And be like, well, we can agree to disagree. No,
we can't. And
we cannot agree to disagree.
And I'm finna die on this hill. Watch this.
I am, period. Because like this is just not okay.
That sounds like die on this hill mentality.
Yeah, definitely that. And and kind of being like, I don't care who. If you are unable to see this, then there's really no reason for us to continue on being friends.
Right.
Because you quite literally have different morals than me.
Right.
And I don't know if I could have a positive relationship with somebody whose morals are so unaligned with mine.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then the next one, oh, this is a fun one, is avoiding.
Okay.
So avoiding delays addressing the issue indefinitely.
Okay.
Indefinitely.
Okay.
So it's just not something to be talked about.
Okay.
Do I need to move back?
No, you're good.
Okay.
Just as you talk, just make sure you're
cool. And so the goal is to set the disagreement aside until it becomes absolutely necessary to solve the issue, which I think is wild because that's just going to like you said, fester up and grow into something that could be resentment or an issue. And so it's best used when the disagreement is minor. It would take more time and energy to address than to just avoid it. So for lower energy people who don't particularly want to deal with the conflicts,
right,
because they're like, this is small and minor and it's going to take a lot of energy from me, I'm just not going to talk about it until, it keeps coming around.
Give me a small and minor situation.
Small and minor situation. Like the trash in the car. Let's say, you left trash in my car.
Okay.
And let's say I just got my car washed and like it's so clean, just got a super nice detail and everything. Yeah. And then you left some trash in it. And I quite literally can pick the trash up and throw it in the car.
A honey bun wrapper.
Right. And I pick it up, I throw it away and I'm just like, oh, this is irritating. And then it happens again and I'm like, all right, this is irritating. And then it just gets to a point where it's like, okay,
cool.
Where
the hell they leave this damn honey bun wrapper?
Right. No one, dang well, I don't eat honey buns. What am I supposed to do about that? Right, exactly.
But then you don't then send them a text like, hey dog, what's up with that honey bun wrapper?
Right. And so then it gets to a point
where... How you just going to disrespect my car and I just got it done? Detailed. So you just wouldn't do that?
No. Yeah. You just avoid it.
Just avoid that.
Just avoid that. And then let's say, still within the avoidant conflict management style, let's say that you... it happens again. You do it again.
Right.
Like a month goes by and you do it again. I'm like, whatever, I can just throw it away. And then another month goes by and you do it again. And this time I'm like, okay, I'm just going to get a trash can in my car. And so I have a little trash can in the car and I put it in the front seat so you could see it and everything. And you don't throw it in the trash can. And then that could be a situation where you're like, okay, now it's getting to the point where it keeps happening and I think I might need to address it.
Yeah. So you think I'm a bitch?
Is ultimately what I heard.
So now you're disrespecting me.
Because what I heard you say was... F me, F my mama, and all these people. I don't appreciate
Hey, dog,
that.
I've been conflict avoidant this whole thing, but now I'm about to be conflict competition. This shit. Because what's going on, and I'm finna die on this hill because you saw the trash can.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that would pretty much be how that goes. I don't think avoiding it lasts us for very long because it's like an indefinitely ignoring.
And you still owe me gas money for that trip that we took.
You just bring up all the old stuff that you've been avoiding. And I think that that's what would happen.
That's exactly what happened.
Then you're sitting there
There
just
goes
going.
that memory coming to the front of the mind.
All that back of the mind stuff is like, and Joy had to come and get it because Joy was like, I've been kicked out of the headquarters.
Woo.
Sadness is here with me. Disgust and fear are here too,
Oh my
and we gotta
gosh.
go. We gotta get this.
Wow.
Because we can't have
Oh
this.
my goodness.
And so yeah, you gotta put it all in the water.
So it sounds like avoidant is okay for a one-time instance.
I think for a one-time and small things, I don't think that people should avoid things often. I think bringing it up would definitely make sense. Make sense and would be fulfilling for both parties involved, because then it's like if we can get to a world where we constantly have healthy resolutions of conflict and just being able to say, hey, this bothered me, without somebody being like, and it's like, whoa, why does it have to be so aggressive? Can we just calm down? We don't need to be yelling and screaming at each other. Something bothered you, come talk to me about what bothered you. Don't sit there and scream and then I'm sitting here confused because you're yelling at me about something that never happened. What? Because now you're mad about everything else going on in your life. You're now doing the stuff of how you've blamed everybody else for every issue that you're dealing with instead of getting to the root of what you're dealing with.
Right.
And then you're just going through. So I think avoiding it just kind of makes it fester. And then it starts mixing in with other issues that you've been having with other people, or that you've been having with yourself, or you've been having just in general. And then it's a whole problem. And now you're taking it out on one person instead of sitting there saying, this one thing bothered me with this person, and this one thing bothered me with this person. And like, why do you want to have things that are bothering you with every single person?
Right.
Release.
Your wife told you that you couldn't have a side chick. So now you
That's the root. That's yeah. All right.
instead of just addressing it, you was avoidant, and then
That's such an interesting analogy because
we gotta
like
take that out.
why
Okay, 27 minutes on the second recording. All right.
okay. Yeah. So I don't recommend avoiding it for too long. I think that could cause a lot of trauma for people rather than just being like, let me try to address this. And even if you need to take some time before you address it, that's totally fine. So you can get your thoughts together, so you can calm down, so it doesn't bother you as much. That's fine. I think just when you sit there and you avoid it, or you hand it off and pass it off to somebody else to handle it for you, like first off, that is high school. That is middle school.
That sounds like high school.
That's that kind of stuff that I used to go and tell my best friend, hey, will you go tell that person that I don't like what they did and did that because I'm feeling nervous about it? And it's like, my best friend's a Taurus, so like
that's that avoidant.
right. And so like me avoiding it and then passing it on to somebody else to deal with, where is that fear at? Where do you think that's okay at? Instead of you dealing with it yourself? Are you a child?
Yeah.
You must be a child.
Yeah.
You must be a child.
How many times has the messenger been killed because of the message that they delivered?
Right.
Now we're talking about community conflicts. Now we back to it.
Because now you've caused conflict between few people who never had any issues because you didn't want to face and talk about something yourself. And you didn't want to hold yourself accountable for how you caused problems within this also, because it takes two to tango. So there's not really too much of, oh, well, this person did this to me. And there's always a cause and effect. So this person did this to you because this happened.
Right.
And so that's why. And you have cut out what you've done and simply focused on what they've done, which was the effects. So you didn't talk about your cause.
Right.
You just went on to the effects, and then you pulled in another person and only told them about your effects.
Right.
No cause.
Right.
And now there's beef between two people who didn't have any issues before.
Yeah.
And so now it's just become this whole big thing, and you've just ruined a whole bunch of stuff simply because you didn't feel comfortable
holding yourself accountable.
Holding yourself accountable ultimately.
All right, so you have, there's one more. That was 3.
Two more.
Avoidant. Oh,
Five
there's
total.
5 of them. Okay.
5 total. Yeah. So this next one is accommodating.
Okay.
Accommodating also prioritizes the relationship over the outcome. Goal is to concede the conversation to the other party fully and maintain a positive relationship.
I feel like we tapped hands. Let's go ahead and just high five. Yeah. Accommodating the other party fully to
maintain a positive
relationship.
Yeah.
Now, how much accommodation? What? Okay.
This is interesting because this is best when you know you're wrong or the relationship is worth far more than the outcome. So this is also a good way of holding yourself accountable.
All right,
While
so
you come in and you're saying, you know what, I was wrong in this situation.
I cheated.
Damn, you just gonna jump.
Yeah, let's go to the extremes. This is the biggest.
All right.
Let's go to the one that is just so just straight up and down. Because how many people have gotten beat up because
they cheated?
Well, not even that. I think that when it comes to conflict resolution, sometimes the conflict that needs to be resolved is misdirected. Like, why are you trying to fight me when your committed girlfriend cheated with a dude that she randomly met at the club?
That's true.
Why are we fighting, big dog? I don't even know you.
Right.
Why am I fighting this random man off the street? Who are you?
Man, you coming up to me like, do you know who Sally is?
Who
and I'm
are
like,
you?
yeah, I know who Sally is. Well, Sally's my girl. Well, I didn't know that. Sally told me she was single.
Right.
What do you mean? Well, Sally and I have been married for 10 years. Well, I don't know.
When I met her, she was Tasha.
And that's why I'm confused.
Hold up.
What do you mean? What do you mean? And so I think, yeah, that too. And then that's comes where Sally, Tasha, Nikki, Tina, whatever her name is, comes up and says, hey, I was wrong. I've been cheating. I got hoes in different area codes. And let's figure this out because how can I accommodate you? How can I accommodate this for us to get over this hump and make it better for both parties involved so that it's a positive outcome? Maybe we still want to be together and we're just coming to an agreement that maybe we'll go to couples counseling so you won't cheat anymore, or so I won't cheat anymore, whoever was cheating.
Right.
And figure out why were you cheating in the first place?
Right.
Get down to the root. It's very interesting because I feel like conflict resolution and really managing those conflicts comes with like getting to the root of what the actual issue is, rather than sitting there and trying to find, because I think that happens so often is you're upset with somebody for what?
Yeah.
Like, you spent a month at my house and now you're mad at me for what?
Why are we beefing?
Why are we beefing? You were fine 2 days ago. Right. And I didn't get to talk to you for those 2 days and now you're mad at me. I don't understand what's going on.
I forgot to give the cat water for a couple hours. Why are you moving out?
Right. It was like, I'm literally, it's okay.
Wait.
It's okay.
Wait.
Huh? What's the root of thing? Yeah. Well, I just feel like I'm not happy in my life. It's like, okay, let's talk about what the root is. Yeah. You're not about to get yelling at me and be upset with me because you're dealing with something and you don't know how to deal with that.
See, but that's what I was asking you about earlier. Like, is that a part of accountability? Is conflict okay? So let's say somebody's conflict, their default conflict style is avoidant, and when they do say, okay, I'm about to resolve this conflict, it appears as a blow up. And so you're
like, they blow up?
Yeah, they blow up. So it's kind of like, hey, I have to hold you accountable for addressing issues as you see them coming to you.
Yeah. Or take like a little bit of time to be like, let me really sit with this so that I can figure out a healthy way to resolve this conflict without blowing up on somebody, without going off on someone. Because clearly I am understanding that if this is a pattern, that every time there's a conflict, I end up going screaming and yelling at somebody. Right. That's something you need to deal with on your own. Internal. Because why are you so upset? Like, you're upset when you're driving. You're upset when you're at work. You're upset when you're at home by yourself. You're upset. Like, you're just upset with life. What's wrong? That's something you got to deal with on yourself. That's really the thing of get down to the root causes of what's going on in your life for you to be so upset with everybody. Yeah. All the time. Like, because now you're just an angry person who's just moving around, and quite literally your spirit is filled with anger because you don't know how to go to somebody and say that this has bothered me and I didn't like that you did this in a calm way without raising your voice and screaming at somebody, because screaming at somebody does not get your point across. It just makes you look childish. and it just makes you look like you don't know how to communicate properly. And I think that that's embarrassing.
And the way that you put it sounded really mature and great, but the way that I'm gonna go about it is, hey, look, big dog, you dealing with something right now that ain't got nothing to do with me. I don't know what's up with you right now, but we good.
We good.
So
Calm down with all that.
I don't know what's going on with you, but I need you right now to figure out what's happening with you.
Yeah, internally, because
this is the way I'm about to resolve this conflict, is putting you on game so you need to deal with whatever you got going on.
Right.
I'm about to resolve this conflict right here, right now.
Right.
Leave me alone. Back up off me before I say the wrong thing, as a matter of fact.
What's that? Mind your business, that's all. Mind your business.
Because if you don't deal with what you got going on, we're about to have something going on.
And so I think that that's definitely the...
But don't let it get to there, though.
Yeah, no. Try to definitely mitigate it before it gets there.
Yeah.
Because that would be the extreme.
That's how I deal with it.
That's what would be the extreme. I think that... yeah, I think too many people are just not actually tapping in with themselves to be like, what's bothering me? I notice, like, I don't like to complain. So I notice if I... why'd you do that?
What really is a complaint, though? I think we're back. I feel like you never really answered that.
Oh, what's a complaint? I feel like, okay, to me, complaining is when you bring something that's like, that you can do something about easily over and over and over and over again. Like, for example, like there's balloons from the house party. So if I was like, oh my gosh, I hate balloons. I don't like balloons, however. So if I was like, oh my gosh, I hate balloons and I'm sick of all these balloons in here, and I just keep keep talking about it as if I can't throw the balloons away, pop them and just throw it away. It's kind of like, okay, you're complaining about something. So I notice when I start talking about something that I can do, like literally can take care of myself, then I'm like, okay, this is bothering me. That means I need to go actually do something about it. Because I don't sit there and just be like, oh, well, I didn't like this and I don't like that. I don't like that. And actually, I think I don't think I'm an avoiding conflict resolution management styles type skill person. I think I might be, I don't think I'm compromising. We haven't even gotten to compromising yet.
Talk about compromising.
Compromising is also puts equal emphasis on the relationship and the outcome. The goal is for both parties to feel somewhat satisfied with the outcome. Best used when a deadline is approaching or a situation is no longer when a deadline is approaching and any solution is better than no solution. And so really just kind of getting to the aspect of this is not that deep. That's really what it feels like to me, is like, it's not that deep. Let's figure out how we can get what's a solution for this? What's a solution for this? I'm a very solution oriented person. And so I don't necessarily... So that's where I kind of feel like that, because I'm kind of like, what's a solution? What's the solution? However, I think it also mixes it with a little bit of collaborating, depending on what it is. I mean, I could be a little bit of any of them.
So check this out. So let me give you an example of compromise.
Okay.
I feel like in this situation, at least what it sounds like.
Go.
So any solution is better than no solution. All right, great. So you keep leaving trash in my car.
Right.
Honey bun wrappers specifically.
Right.
And after avoiding it for so long, but then getting pissed off, I told you, hey dog, catch the bus.
Right.
You ain't getting in my car no more.
And then I'm here like, well, what's going on?
But we roommates.
It's
and
heck of funny.
We both work at the same spot, and the bus on our route, it only comes to the point where you would either have to be to work every day an hour and a half early, or you would be late. So I don't want you to get fired, and I don't want you to have to like waste all that time. So look, dog, hey man, look, I'm compromised. You want to ride with me? Cool. Bring your honey buns, but just you ain't eating them no more.
There's no more eating in the car.
No more eating in the car.
Yeah.
If you want to ride with me, there's no more eating in the car.
Period. Yeah, that would be a compromise. Or the other compromise is, like I said, There's now a trash can in the car, and just be like, hey, it's good. Please make sure you throw your, like, every time
No,
you check.
because you said that they saw the trash can.
Yeah.
And
No,
they
this
still
one
threw it on the trash.
Well, this one is going to be.
That's out the window. That's out. We done
Well,
with that.
this one
Can
could be.
Trash can ain't been in there since I found the wrapper, and I went and bought the trash can, and you still missed it.
Well,
So
that could be
trash
a
can is gone.
conversation of saying, hey, look. And then they're like, well, I don't have time to be able
Because
to
that
eat
was
in the
my
morning.
compromise.
Right. So then they're like, can you, hey, well, I need to eat in the car because I don't have time to eat in the morning.
Nope.
Well.
This is, but that's it. That's it exactly.
Okay.
Any solution is better than no solution.
Okay. So, I mean, and I'm just saying, if that's the thing and that's their rebuttal, then the solution could be, okay, well, I have this trash can. If you're going to eat in the car, you need to put the trash in the trash can. If you're not, and I find the trash out of the trash can again when you get out of the car, then I will be leaving, and I won't even be telling you that I'm leaving.
Right.
So you got a couple of different compromises with that. Is either catch the bus. You got options. Love options. I love giving people options. Catch the bus. No eating in the car, or make sure you just throw your trash away.
So I think, and we're gonna get out of here because we running long. But in closing though, like I think I'm a little bit confused on accommodation and what was the last one that we just got to?
Compromising.
I'm a little confused on accommodation and compromising then.
Well, no, because compromising is quite literally finding a solution.
But accommodation said that the person in the wrong admits that they're wrong.
Yeah.
So
accommodating is when you want it, like when you're wrong or the relationship is worth more than the outcome. And so you're still valuing the relationship. And so if you were doing accommodating with that, it would be like the person going to you and being like, hey, bro, I've noticed you've been kind of moving a little bit like distant from me. And I think that I might know what it is. And I did peep the trash can in your car, and I just like accidentally dropped the honey bun wrapper, and I forgot to pick it up, and that's totally my bad. So it's like, I want to make sure that I can get rides with you. I want to make sure that we're still cool. You know, we're roommates, we're friends, we work together. You know, we spend a lot of time together, and I don't want it to feel as if you're annoyed with me on a regular basis because of what I'm not doing to make sure that I'm showing up properly for you in this friendship. So I'm gonna stop eating in your car, or I'm gonna make sure I just throw my honey buns away, or I'm gonna actually prepare myself so that I eat breakfast before we even go. Mm-hmm. Or I'm gonna start getting myself some of those shakes. I'm gonna do something so that I am no longer inconveniencing you and making you feel discomfort. Mm-hmm. I think that's what accommodating would be, because now they're accommodating your needs.
I don't know. It just always seems weird because like it feels like accommodation would have to be the person who is in the right has to accommodate the person who's in the wrong.
If that was the case, if the person in the right is coming to the person in the wrong and saying that I'm accommodating you, then that's kind of avoiding. That's basically avoiding, because then you're sitting here saying, yeah, you know, you're not stating your grievances. You're not holding them accountable. You're just ultimately saying, okay, it's fine. You know, I'm just going to keep picking the trash up.
I get that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You're right.
And so then the compromise is getting a solution like the trash can,
right,
or saying no more eating in the car.
Right.
Accommodating is saying, you know what, my bad,
right,
for not doing X, Y, and Z. I'm going to start eating breakfast early so I'm not eating in your car anymore.
I'm going to accommodate your wishes.
I'm going to accommodate your wishes. Yeah. Yeah. So that was pretty cool. I think that everybody should look into to the different types of conflict management styles, making sure that you're doing those and making sure that you're holding yourself accountable before you hold everybody else accountable. Get to the root issue. Get to the root issue of what's really bothering you, so that you're not causing conflict within your friend group, within your family, and within community simply because you're dealing with something. Mm-hmm. We would love to support and help you. However, cannot help you if you cannot help yourself. Unfortunately, you've got to do some work on your own in order to unlock your DNA and what your DNA really has within it when you start connecting with yourself and figuring out what's bothering you. So yeah, I think that if everybody can get on the same accord of being really good at conflict management and learning the different types so that you know which ones are good for you in the circumstances that you need to address conflict in. Oops. Yeah. And then holding yourselves accountable, and definitely hold yourself accountable first. And even when you're going into holding somebody else accountable,
You caught that.
I didn't. I feel like I thought I did, and I never do. I don't know. They're small, whatever. And when you're holding yourself accountable, making sure that you're getting down to that root cause, so that when you hold others accountable, it doesn't come off as a attack. Because I think too often accountability can come off as an attack, and you don't want to attack somebody when you want to hold them accountable. You just want to have a conversation and make sure that you're having healthy conversations and healthy relationships. So, yeah. Thanks for tuning in into another episode of Essential Magazine with Jonathan and I, as we spoke about accountability, conflict resolution, and how utilizing these in a healthy manner can really make for a better community, relationships within yourself, and relationship within your friend groups and your family. Please, please, please make sure that you are loving and taking care of yourself always, because if you don't love you, how do you expect anybody else to love you? I always love that line. Check in with us next time as we talk about more topics and really continue to grow as a community so that we can be successful, prosperous, and happy as a community the way that we deserve to. I'm Key. This is Jonathan. This is Essential Magazine. Thanks for tuning in with us. And big announcement, we are now available on all podcast platforms. So you can watch Essential Magazine on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. And you can also listen to it wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure to tap in with us, and we'll see you guys next time. That good?
That was great.
Perfect.